Hello, my name is Dr. Yaya Sissoko. Today we're going to talk about Chapter 10, Externalities. Externalities and Market Inefficiency. Principle number 8 from Chapter 1, out of the 10 principles, we know that government action can sometimes improve market outcome. In this chapter, we're going to talk about why market sometimes fail to allocate resources efficiently. For instance, in the case of pollution or monopoly or oligopoly, market might not allocate resources efficiently. This might lead to deadweight loss. We will talk about also how government policy can potentially improve the market allocation. We'll talk about what kind of policy are likely to work best. Let's begin with the definition of externality. Externality is an uncompensated impact of one person's action on the well-being of a bystander. So, in other words, if there is a transaction between a buyer and a seller directly affect a third party, the the impact on the third party is called externality. Sometimes this externality is not captured in the market because there is no price to be paid. We call that market failure. Mm. Externality can be negative externality. The impact on the by bystander is adverse. For instance, so if a company dump a waste, chemical waste into the river, so polluting the river, this could impact animals who's going to drink in the river. It's going to also impact the people living along that river. They could get sick. So also externality could be positive externality. The impact on the bystander is beneficial. For instance, you know, technology spill over, company having a clean technology that could reduce pollution, it could be beneficial to the population. Another example also is education. By going to school, get a higher degree, for instance, a bachelor degree or master degree, you this will benefit you earn higher income, but also by being productive you help the society by increasing, the productivity and increasing, the value of total output in the economy. So that's a positive externality. So exhaust from automobile is a negative externality because it creates smoke that people have to breathe. As a result of this externality, drivers tend to pollute too much. Bargain dog also is a negative externality because it creates so a neighbor are disturbed by the noise. Dog owner do not bear the full cost of the noise, and therefore they tend to take too few precautions to prevent their dog from bargaining. Restore historic building is an example of positive externality because people people who walk or ride by them can enjoy the beauty or in the sense of history that this building provides. Building owners do not get the full benefit of restoration and therefore tend to discard old building too quickly. Research into new technology is also an example of positive externality because people, inventor cannot capture the full benefit of their invention. They tend to devote few too few resources to reach us. The federal government addresses that problem partially by providing patent to inventors so that they have exclusive use of their invention for the limited time. So let's recap the welfare economy. The demand curve value to customer, it's the price they are willing to pay for. The supply curve is cost to the supplier. So at the equilibrium, quantity and prices are efficient. This maximize the sum of producer and consumer surplus. Figure one deal with the market for aluminum. The price of aluminum is given on the y-axis or vertical axis. The quantity of aluminum is given on the horizontal axis or x-axis. So the supply curve, which is the private cost, so cross the demand curve, which is the private value at this point, which is equilibrium. Then this leads to the equilibrium quantity in the market. This equilibrium quantity maximize the total value to buyer minus the total cost to seller. In the absence of externality, the market equilibrium is efficient. So how do you measure negative externality? Negative externality is measured by the cost to society of producing a good. So usually that cost is larger than the cost of producing the good. So look at this, says the CEO of a company talking to another CEO, he said, all I can say is being a leading manufacturer mean being a leading polluter, so be it. So you can see that, he doesn't care about being a leading polluting the environment. So what is care is just producing, the good and services. The social cost is the private cost of the producer, the supply curve, plus the cost to those by standard affecting adversely by the negative externality. Usually, the social cost is above the supply curve, so because it take into account the external cost imposed on society. So figure number two deal with the pollution and the social optimums. So in the market of aluminum, the price of aluminum is given on the y-axis. The quantity of aluminum produced in the society is given on the x-axis or horizontal axis. So the supply curve, which is the private cost, so intercept the demand curve, which is the private value at the equilibrium point, which is this one. This will give you the equilibrium quantity in the market. So to measure the social cost, of the pollution to society, you take the private cost, and you add the external cost. So the social cost will the supply curve will shift to the left and it will be higher than the normal supply curve, the private cost. So you can see that the new equilibrium here, including the external cost, will be the optimum. So that new equilibrium lead to a new equilibrium quantity which is less than the equilibrium quantity provided in a market without externality. So the equilibrium in the market lead to the optimum quantity produced. So this equilibrium, determine the maximum total welfare, and then when that quantity is less than the market equilibrium quantity. So to correct for the market failure, the government can internalize the externality by attaining incentives so that people take into account the external effect of their action. For instance, the government could tax, the polluter for each unit of the good. In this case, each unit of the aluminum produced, so the polluter would pay a tax for each unit, of the product produced. In the case of education, which is an example of positive externality, the benefit of education is private. If you go to school, you get a degree, you earn higher income, and then you enjoy that higher income by having better quality of life. But the positive externality could be better government because you could work for the government and you lower rates, lower crime rating because you work, then you make your own money. You don't need to commit crime, in order to make a living. So higher productivity and wages. So because you go to school, you're earning a higher degree, you become more productive. Society will benefit from that because you will be able to produce more goods and services. Therefore, total value of output or GDP, gross domestic product, will increase. And then because you go to school, also you earn higher wages and you make more money. You'll be able to take care of yourself and have a better quality life. So the social value is greater of education is greater than the private value. So that social value curve will be above the demand curve in that case. Figure number three, deal with education and the social optimum. So the price of education is given on the y-axis and the quantity of education is given on the x-axis. The supply curve, which is the private cost, cross the demand curve, which is the private value at this point, which is equilibrium in quantity of the market. So by taking into account the uh, positive externality of education, so the external benefit will shape the social value of education, which is the private value plus the external benefit. And so the new curve here, the social curve, cross the supply curve at this point, which is optimum, and which will lead to market in the quantity optimum in the market, which is greater than the market in quantity. So therefore, so the optimum quantity, is larger than the equilibrium quantity of the market with positive externality. In the case of negative externality, the market produces a larger quantity than socially desirable. To fix the market failure, the government can impose taxes on each unit of the product produced. So the polluter have to pay taxes. In the case of positive externality, the market produces a smaller quantity than socially desirable. To fix the market failure, the government could provide subsidy, which is financial assistance to to the people or to the businesses who are providing the positive externality so that they have incentive to produce more. In the case of technology spillover, which is a positive externality, the government can impact the film research by providing subsidy, which will encourage businesses to do technological innovation, which will benefit everybody in the society. So for the industrial policy, the government should promoting technology and science industry by providing funding to promote research and development. So also the government should provide patent law which will protect the property right of inventor by giving them exclusive use of the invention for a period of time.